So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast, where Villa's winning run ends, and ends to definitely the team who were the better team in the second half. After I suppose a promising first half, after a promising first half where I thought Villa played really well. I thought Villa had a few chances. They had nullified an awful lot of Arsenal's work. Arteta made a couple of changes at halftime. Tactical changes, just wanted to absolutely swarm that centre circle, and Villa found it very, very difficult sledding in the first 25 minutes of the second half, and that's where all the damage was done from the corner that Emi Martinez needs to do better. These ones are racking up on him, and it's becoming a thing from Martinez. Look, he's a great shot stopper, don't get me wrong. Emi Martinez, he's a great and he's going to have brilliant games, but you know, the Leeds one, this one, the one against Chelsea, that's just three that come to mind, and they were just tussles with people, and concentrating the ball, try and get that ball out, try and punch that ball out. 5 minutes after half time, that goal sets the scene, and then the goal 2 minutes afterwards, directly afterwards, then as well, due to from a ball, Sancho gets dispossessed, and once we went 2-0 down, I kind of begrudgingly was kind of at peace that best Villa were going to get here as a draw, and then it got actually worse. You know, as everybody knows from the Trossard goal, Trossard always scores against us. Big deliberation for the offsides and that one. I thought both of them were offside from looking at them, but obviously from the angles that we had, I thought both of them were offside, the first one and the second one. But it's some finish from Trossard, and then Gabriel Jesus comes on and sticks one in the back of the net, almost a carbon copy of Trossard's goal. Just use the player in front of him as a buffer zone, guides it in with his right foot, and before you know it, Arsenal are 4-0 up. Villa get their consolation late on through Ollie Watkins, but like and I'll talk about Darren England in a moment because I think he was poor for both teams. But I can't sit here and say that Aston Villa should, based on the balance of that second half, should have gone on and won this game or should have got a draw from this game, because they just shouldn't. Arsenal were much the better team in that second half, and that's not being defeatist, but there's or anything like that. But I can point to the fact that the first goal we conceded and the second goal we conceded were very much so problems of our own making. And probably I would say the second goal doesn't come if the first goal doesn't come, obviously, but you know what I mean. I think the first goal kind of rattled Villa a small little bit. The second goal going in 2 minutes afterwards then was a real shot across the bow, or shot into the bow, I suppose, of Aston Villa. And look, that's what a team like Arsenal are going to do. That's what a team like who has the talent of Odegaard, has the talent of Trossard, the team that is known literally for being so good at corners and at set pieces. I don't know why Martinez feels the need to consistently get involved. I don't know why he feels the need not to punch balls away like that. He's obviously been told not to, or maybe he hasn't, I don't know. But it's something that we need to start considering. It's something he needs to start consider doing, is to just, play the moment that's in front of you instead of playing the man that's beside you. I do think that Amadou Onana's injury had a huge bearing on that second half as well. I do think that was the case. There was at times a big Amadou Onana hole in a lot of our defending, because I thought he was really good in the first half. I thought he was brilliant actually in the first half. I thought Buendia was brilliant in the first half. I thought Sancho was really, really good in the first half as well. I thought, to a man, Aston Villa looked really, really solid in the first half. And I think the Onana substitution and injury did have an effect on Aston Villa. It's easy to say that because we concede 5 minutes afterwards, but Onana brings heft from corners, he brings heft in the middle of midfield, and we got nothing really going there through John McGinn and through Yuri Tielemans. And I think, you know, the more that the more that I see, and look, John McGinn obviously coming on at halftime. It's hard to get up to the pitch of that game as well. Even after halftime, I don't think he did anything wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's not an anti John McGinn thing. It's just I think that Amadou Onana was playing really, really well, and I was disappointed to see him go off. And I know I haven't even opened up the comments yet because I'm sure that we may have some travelers from traveling people from other traveling over from other fan bases, should I say, to have a crack off it, because the XG merchants were out in force after the fourth goal went in, claiming that Aston Villa's run was not going to be sustainable, which is their prerogative if they do wish to do that. But based on one swallow, they're well out there and shouting proudly that this is summertime. But we will see. We don't know what the future holds for Aston Villa from the point of view of increasing that XG, which, as we know, is the most important thing in sport currently at this moment in time. But where was I there? Amadou Onana, as I say, yeah, I think he was a huge loss. Huge loss. Made a couple of changes then. I thought Bogard was doing really, really well at right back. I thought he was dreadful. Sorry, I'm not going to say dreadful. Dreadful's too strong a word. I thought he played worse than he played at right back when he went into midfield. But then again, I don't think I think that whole midfield played poorly in the second half. So it's not just on him. It's absolutely not just on him. And just Garcia was caught for the fourth goal, I think it was. Just kind of cut out of position, let the ball go over his head, went to challenge it for it where he didn't have any chance to get to it. And I think it was that one that Gabriel Jesus scored. Can't quite remember. But yeah, we didn't have that impetus specifically in the first tranche of substitutions that we made. And our bench was tested again today. Our bench was tested, and without Matty Cash and without Boubacar Kamara, and I'm glad that it's the 30th of December, because we hopefully, and well, Unai Emery says we will be able to dip into our pockets and make some signings. As I say, meaningful contributors, because there was never a stage when we were going to, when it wasn't just going to be the more experienced players that came on. I know Garcia, maybe we don't call him one of those, but to come into a game like that after not having played since, did they say, the start of April, that's always going to be tough. It's always going to be tough. And again, we were 3-0 down at that stage. I don't blame him. I really don't kind of blame him for that loss at all. And to be honest with you, I blame Martinez for the first goal because it was his fault. Like what? You just have to be better there. If you are the world's number one, you have to be better there. And he will be better there in future games. I hope he will, because that's 3 games, as I said, that they're racking up. That something needs to change there. And if it doesn't change, well then it must be on. It's either on him or Aston McPhee. Something is there that they don't want him to punch that ball away. But he should have punched that ball away, because essentially it becomes a defender's playground in that instance. You're hoping for the free. And yes, you'll get them at some stages, but like tonight, you don't. And I looked at that VAR. A couple of people DM me saying, "Oh, that's a free out. It has to be. There was an elbow in there." Just don't think there was enough in any of that to give a free out. Like, I sat here after Morgan Rogers' header against Juventus was disallowed, and there was probably a similar type of contact in that one, and that was ruled out. But I don't think that should have been ruled out. I don't think Morgan Rogers' header against Juventus should have been ruled out. And to be honest with you, I think on the balance of what Emi Martinez could have done, I think it was the right decision to allow that goal. The second or the third was the third goal. Yeah, the Trossard goal. I'm a bit more. I'm kind of going. They looked offside, but then again, we don't have. I didn't see any of the lines or anything like that. So at that stage, that's the third goal. Maybe that's the killer. I don't know, but it probably is. But again, it's a superb strike. It's a superb strike. But yeah, so look, Villa didn't have super powered oranges at halftime. Arsenal obviously had, and at second half they were the better team and deserved this win. And as I say, after the run, I'm not going to go in 2-footed on anyone, because I just don't see the need for it. after the run we've been on, I think it would be just piss and vinegar for piss and vinegar's sake, to be honest with you. As a unit, specifically in midfield, it just could not get going in the second half, and that's because of Arsenal's changes, or Arsenal's tactical tweaks of just basically being very militant and having a spy in centre circle the whole time. So the second we went centrally, and we were going centrally at that stage to, who was it at that stage? Was it Buendia? Because I thought Buendia had a good first half. We were going centrally to Buendia or Morgan Rogers, and they just shut that down early in the second half. Just shut it down almost immediately. And we were 2-0 down, and at that stage, it was very difficult to get things going. And maybe what you could say is we were 1-0 down, not because of it, but we're definitely 2-0 down because of it, because Odegaard spying on Sancho, getting out in front of him, winning that ball, and playing a superb pass through to Zubimendi, who, the way from where he ran from, very difficult with that weight of pass, very difficult for a centre half to get across there, and he finishes past Emi Martinez. I think as well, I'm going to talk about Darren England, because I just thought he had a poor, like there's no way Mikel Moreno should have not got a red card in that game. The 2 yellows, it was 2 yellows. It just was. And I'm not saying we would have gone on to win the game, but 2 things. Speaking about this in a vacuum, the performance of Arsenal in the second half was top notch. The performance of the referee as well. I can't understand as well how Saka can continually do what he does in pulling players back and leaving out the leg to trip players and stuff like that. And he just never seems to get booked against Aston Villa anyway. Never seems to get booked for that. And there was two of those that were pretty egregious in the first half. I just have an issue with, if it's a foul and it's a yellow card, it should be a foul and it should be a yellow card. It shouldn't matter what time of the game it's on. It shouldn't matter the player. It shouldn't matter if it was a clumsy tackle. It shouldn't matter. I think we should just give those, because they do have real-time consequences. They do have real-time consequences in games. And specifically, I suppose, as referees are becoming under more scrutiny, and when you have VAR in situations like that, and I know that, look, for yellow cards and things that VAR, we don't want to get involved in everything. I'm talking about for the big decisions. You shouldn't shirk your responsibility in the smaller decisions either to give yellow cards. I just felt tonight that Darren England did that. I felt that there was a couple of instances. Well, look, the Mikel Moreno one is stonewaller. Like that second one where he drags, I can't remember who it was. Was it Morgan Rogers down? Like that's a definite second yellow card. And I don't even think you need to see how he dragged him down. It was how far away from from the ball he was when he dragged him down. I think it was just a guaranteed. And I don't buy the threshold is higher for the second yellow, because it's for me that's always been a bit nonsensical. It doesn't. It makes the rules overly subjective in that instance, and they're subjective enough as it is. They're subjective enough as it is. So, as I say, that one didn't go our way. He went scampering over to the touchline 5 minutes later, and Christian Norgard comes on, and that's Arteta being smart. Said take him off before he gets sent off, and he got the opportunity to do that. The more egregious one, I think, really in the first half was like Saka's foul in the first half was a stonewaller of a yellow card, and I just don't understand it. Again, would it have changed the game? No. I'm discussing these moments in their silo as they are in their vacuum from a refereeing performance, and I don't know. I just I don't have, like, I'm not, you know me guys, I'm not as down on refs as Paddy is. I usually leave the referee decision in conversations, should I say, to Paddy, because he's more passionate about them, whether you agree with him or not. On some of the things that he says, he has every single right to say them. But I just never really feel confident with Darren England. I don't know why. And he doesn't ref us that often either. But like, I'm much more confident with, like, I know Atwell wasn't great the last day, but I don't really particularly mind Michael Oliver. Everybody will have different opinions, and again, refereeing performances are always subjective. But I think those two were. I think they would, like, if there was somebody up in the stands marking a scorecard for Darren England tonight, he got those two pretty badly wrong. I think. But look, as I say, would they have changed the game? Who knows? I don't think the Moreno one would have. The Saka yellow card may. I don't know. But look, as I say, they wouldn't have stopped Trossard pinging one in. It wouldn't have stopped the corner. It wouldn't have stopped Gabriel Jesus pinging one in. So who knows? Who knows what the butterfly effect is from there? But yeah, look, Villa's not like Villa. It was actually sorry. I'll say that in English again. I'll come back and I'll speak in English there. At the end, the commentary made allusions to the end of Aston Villa's title run, and like you just have to laugh at that. Not that this isn't the end of our title run, but our title run had never begun. We weren't in a title race. If we win 2 more games on Arsenal and draw back level with them or eclipse them between now and the end of the season, brilliant. But for me, this is the big thing for me was, and one of the reasons why I'm not hopping up and down here and I'm not full of fire and brimstone is because we've been on a great run. But the second reason is we didn't, like, Chelsea only got a draw tonight. And it's always been, for me, for anyone who watches the podcast, over the last couple of weeks, it's been buffer zone FC. Getting that buffer zone to 5th place to make sure that we get Champions League football. Whether we finish 4th, 2nd, 3rd, it's great for team morale. You get an extra, 5 million, I think, from, which is always going to help a team like Aston Villa for PSR and SCR reasons. I don't know how much it is per league place. I think it's something like 5 million or 2.5 million or whatever it is. But realistically, Aston Villa want to finish in the top 4 to cement their Champions League place. And tonight, while it would have been absolutely brilliant to draw with Arsenal, it would have been even better to beat Arsenal. Not great ever to lose 4-0. I'm not condoning a 4-0 win. There will be postmortems, and there should be. And there should be conversations about what went on, specifically about not being able to get a foothold in the middle of midfield, and specifically as well about the corner stuff. If you leave it to Martinez, why is he doing these things? And there should be conversations. There will be. We know there will be. But for me, the big, like I said, we've only lost 1 point on Chelsea today. We've lost 3 points on Manchester United, which isn't ideal. Brings back Man United back to 29 points? Is it? Sorry, no, we didn't lose. Did we lose? Did United win tonight, or did they draw? I got so muddled up in all the score lines because I was keeping an eye on Forest and Everton as well for some reason, because they did. United drew, so we only lost a point in United as well. Apologies. I was keeping an eye on Forest and Everton, and a reason why, because I got a tip from a guy I know that's a football scout / agent, and he said that Nottingham Forest might go to 5-6 managers this year. So I was keeping an eye on that game, and they lost 2-0. Yeah, so I'm just looking at the points here. So yeah, we're still 9 points ahead of 5th, 9 points ahead of 6th. Yes, look, so United and Chelsea both on the same amount of games played as us, and both on 30 points. Sunderland have Man City to come, and Liverpool have Leeds to come on New Year's Day. So all things considered, 4-0 is a shit result from the point of view of morale, from the point of view of, maybe not even from morale, but from the point of view of goal difference and shipping 4 goals. Poor result. Poor the way that we played so well in the first half, came out in the second half and couldn't capitalize on it. But realistically, in the greater scheme of things, and this is where Unai Emery is going to need to work his magic over the course of the next few days. And I think he will be able to. Obviously, before the Forest game, and specifically when we'll have Kamara and Cash back as well. And we'll have 2 new players coming in to bolster, I suppose, the numbers in the squad. And 2 pivotal players as well, let's just say. I think that Unai Emery will come away from that and go, yeah, I would have loved 1-0 loss, or would love to have won this, would love to have drawn it, would have preferred a 1-0 loss, but realistically, we've only lost a point on United and Chelsea. And we still go into 2026, 9 points ahead, 9 points away from dropping out of the top 5 in dropping out of the top 4, should I say, in the Premier League. And that's still, That's still good news. That's still the shining light and the silver lining in this. Now, I am going to brave the comments, guys, because I don't know if we have some fellow Arsenal fans in here, but let me just try and sorry, 4-1. Did I say 4-0 last? 4-1 last. I'm going to be honest, I didn't see Ollie Watkins' goal because I said I'd run out here, and I had I was watching it on the TV inside, put it on my phone, and I realized I'd never set up this stream. I said I'd run out, and as I ran out, I dropped my phone, and when I went to pick it up, I hit the on-off button and stopped the stream. And then when I turned the stream back on again, it was 4-1. I didn't even see the goal. I'm going to be honest, I didn't see Ollie Watkins' goal. I'm sure people will forgive me that, considering it was a consolation. I did hear that Daniel Mallon did some great work for Ollie Watkins. I'm delighted he scored on his 30th birthday, should I say, and kept that scoring record against Arsenal. I would have preferred if he'd done it in a win or a draw, and I would have preferred if the header as well had gone in, the one that came back off the post, and David Rea did absolute deja vu stuff. Header comes back off the post, and John McGinn can't put it in because Rea gets across. He did the exact same thing, I think, last year, the game in August of last year as well at the Emirates, if I'm not mistaken. Remember Ollie Watkins? Did he save one and then got up and then saved it again? Another double save. So look, that was another shot. I'd love to know what the XG was on John McGinn's miss there. But I'd imagine that it was quite high. But yeah, look, the game was realistically played out in the between the 50th and the 70th minute, when they got their 4 goals. It's good that they kept on plugging away to try and score at the end. I know I kept on saying 4-0 there. Apologies, 4-1. Good that they kept on plugging away at the end to get a goal, and that just shows, I suppose, really that could just show as well that it's about the collective. It's about getting those goals. We can take that positive, move on then to Forest, and we will see what Forest brings on Saturday as well. Right? Oh Jesus, there's a ton of comments here. Where are we? Yeah. So AVFC says aim is top 4. Reset and go again. Absolutely, that's always been mine. Where else are we there? Sprigg says the scoreline flattened. I presume flattered Arsenal. I think on the balance of the 90 minutes of flattered Arsenal, but on the balance of that 20 minutes, we were shell shocked in that 20 minutes. We were shell shocked for sure in that 20 minutes. This is strange. Sorry, guys. I'm just going when I'm looking at this here. Twitter. Any comments that come from Twitter are all up at the very top. And they're all coming in as being 11:52 a.m., which is really strange. So if there's somebody's comments on Twitter, I'm going to scroll down past them because chronologically they will make no sense, I would imagine. Steve says, halfway point, third in the league, 9 points from 5th. What a wonderful time to be alive. Absolutely. And you know what else is brilliant? I was off work today, and I made Rice Krispie buns with my 2 kids. And they were fucking gorgeous. I just had one. I had one there just as I was setting up the stream. That's another great thing. If you guys need to take away solace from anything, is that I'm actually right good at making Rice Krispie buns. As we know, they are the hardest thing in the world to make. If you believe that, you believe anything. Let's scroll down here. I'm just cherry picking here, guys. As I say, I'm just scrolling down and putting a dart, should I say, in these ones. Standing on the word says Onana random in midfield, but after he went off, it was noticeably different. Volley had scored in the first half. It might have been different. We need a finisher in January. Yeah, look, I think I've always said the striker. I think, yeah, we need a striker. And to be honest with you, I think we will get one. I think we probably see 2 incomings in January. I probably Harvey Elliott goes back. I'm going to do a podcast in the coming days of what I think we need in January. And Villa have actually been linked with 4 or 5 younger players. I don't know if they're going to be the ones that we're going to sign in January, but I'm going to do podcasts on those again because you guys know all I want to do is scout young players, and try and do podcasts on those. So watch out for those. I'm hoping to do minimum of 1, if not 2 podcasts a day for the month of January. So as and when time allows. So be prepared for that. Be prepared for that. Where else are we? CCAVA88 says, I noticed that our players didn't complain either when Saka pulled those sneaky fouls. Yeah, maybe they need to start doing more of that. I think, look, the reason we didn't have Boubacar Kamara at the weekend was because of dissent, or tonight is because of dissent at the weekend. So I don't know, maybe they were more cautious of that. I know Ezri Konsa was running around the place looking to the ref quite a bit, but yeah, I don't know. Mr. Ritchie says, Neil, you keep me so sane. Thank you. Yeah, I feel at times this year in the elation I've spoken a bit insanely. And I feel at the start of the season there was one game, I can't remember what game it was. I remember being uncharacteristically unhinged after the game. But yeah, as I say, I find, like, if I was managing this team, if I was managing Aston Villa today, I'd find it very difficult to go in there and tear paint off the walls today. And I don't think you and I would either. I think it would be a case of, let's get back in the bus, lads. Let's go. I had 2 trips to London with a brilliant 11 games. We all knew it wasn't going to last forever. Okay, it's not the method we would have liked to have lost here today, but in the immortal words of Paul Lambert, was it? We go again. And that's what we'll do on Saturday. Forest on Saturday, just look for retribution, look for backlash, and look to get the show back on the road again. Where are we? I'm not wading into a referee comment there. I'm not wading into that one. Joe Keating, yes, as well. Yeah, Rodgers' yellow was weird. I thought Rodgers' yellow was strange as well. But again, didn't really affect the game. CCAV88 again says, in a way, I'm glad the title bubble has burst. It's nice to dream, but we have to stay focused on the Champions League. And look, it definitely, like, as I said, the title bubble wasn't there for me. And I've been vocal on that. That the whole time, that it's look in the rearview mirror first. And if you happen to turn around and you see there's a car slowing down in front of you, swerve past it and go past it. That's kind of always been my thoughts on this great run. Because at the start of it, we were saying we've no right to be up here because Jesus, we had such a bad start to the season. Then all of a sudden you go all those wins in a row, and then you're going, we've every right to be up here. We've every right to be up here. And now it's just about solidifying, proving that we can keep that buffer zone to the chasing pack, because it's been an amazing 3 years, and this is shaping up to be a very, very good 2026. Like, as I say, the long-term injuries we have, I don't know what Onana did today. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Hopefully it was precautionary. But the long-term injuries we have should be coming back soon. Pau Torres, Tyrone Mings, Ross Barkley. We'll be expecting those guys to come back maybe in the next 4 weeks. Have all 3 of them back maybe? I can't remember when Ross Barkley got injured, but they were saying it was likely to be like a maybe 2.5 month injury. So, that's something that we can look to. Also, reinforcements coming in the transfer window. If we can reinforce half as well as we did with Marco Asensio and Marcus Rashford last year, and add it to the position we're in. Last year, we were chasing down people ahead of us, and we did a bloody good job of it. This year, if we can add and keep and not chase down Arsenal or Man City. If it happens, it's brilliant. But keep the chasing pack demoralized, disorientated behind us. That's going to be a superb January window. I don't know how we pull a Marcus Rashford or Marco Asensio out of the bag, but then again, if I was sitting here talking to you on the 30th of December 2024, I wouldn't have known how we would have done it either. And to be honest with you, when we signed Marcus Rashford, when it came to Rashford is coming to Villa and it all came to fruition, I was on the second day of my stag party. I woke up on the Monday and I went, I'm not even sure that bloody thing happened. But so Look. If it means I need to go on another stag party again for us to sign a world class player, look, I'll have to take that bullet. I suppose I'll say it to ourselves, and I'll just say, look, it has to be done. Has to be done. And you're all invited, by the way. If we need to do this, if we need to have another stag for us to sign a player at the caliber of Marcus Rashford, you're all invited. All of you invited. Right. There was one comment here as well. Thank you so much to Elliot Finko. Thank you so much for that contribution to the podcast. Says, Happy New Year, Neil. Up the goddamn Villa. My favorite Villa podcast. I look forward to every pre and post pod. We shall rebound. And you're from Bethlehem, PA, USA, Pennsylvania, and USA. I actually traveled through Bethlehem before. I traveled through it, and of course, I made the joke of, "Is there any room in the inn?" I made that joke, but I'm sure you're sick of that. But thanks so much for that, Eddie. Really, really appreciate it, and thanks a million for watching in the US as well. There's some really, really kind words, and I do appreciate all that. And to everybody here, in case I forget to put out a Happy New Year's message, Happy New Year to everybody, because it's been a pretty decent end to the year from an Aston Villa point of view, and let's hope that the start of 2026 is just as good as the end was outside of this game. So I'm going to wrap it up on that, guys. I got a half an hour out of this. I have no idea how I did it, because I only expected to do maybe 12-15 minutes on it, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to come back again probably tomorrow. I'm going to do at least one podcast tomorrow. I want to get a couple in the hopper for the next few days, and try and up the content. I've been so busy with work and with kids and stuff like that over the Christmas that we didn't even do a preview for this podcast. Didn't do a preview for the Chelsea one either, and their misses and their slips on my part, because I like doing them. I find the previews the hardest ones to do but I still like doing them. Something will come, or one of you guys will come up with a comment in the comment box, and I'll go, Jesus, I forgot all about that. Or is that the case? Is that a statistic? Wow, that's brilliant. Yeah, so we'll try and come with a couple of podcasts over the course of the next few days anyway. And even if I can't get them done live, I'll pre-record some of them and line them up for you guys as well. But yeah, listen, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time. There's over 1,000 people in here. There was actually 1,200 people here at one stage. And I really thank you for their time. If you're an Arsenal fan, you're looking at this, I hope you come in peace, because, as I say, you guys were absolutely outstanding for a 20-minute period. Yes, we did have our own speed bumps we put in our way, but you guys showed finishing there from Trossard and Zubimendi and Gabriel Jesus. And look, as I would say, just go on and win the bloody thing now, and if you don't, I hope we go and win it, put it that way, because we're not a million miles away from you guys just yet. But yeah, better team won tonight, a better team in the second half won tonight, and just have to lick our wounds, get back up to Birmingham and get ready for the Forest at the weekend. But thanks so much, everybody, for watching. I'm waffling again. Stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.